Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis from the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. As we look this week at Bible passages that talk about people who have been attacked by Satan, we have to consider the life and the sufferings of Job. Certainly, this was not just a man that had troubles and woes in his life. It was a definite attack by Satan, not only on his character, on his personal life, even on his family. In Job chapter 1 and verse 9, the Bible says, "Then Satan answered the Lord and said, 'Does Job fear God for no reason? Have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face.'" After God has provided a wonderful example of a godly servant in Job to Satan, Satan begins to accuse him. He begins to say he only fears God for the blessings that he receives out of it. Now, first of all, this is the problem of a health and wealth gospel today. It falsely preaches that name it and claim it thing that says, you can have your best life now. It presumes so much on God's blessings. And it says it's all about me after all, when it really isn't. It ought to all be about God. But secondly, we know that Satan will accuse Job of superficial faith because he's known as the accuser of the brethren. That is his practice. And when we read this story, we must ask ourselves the question, do I only fear God and serve him because of his earthly and material blessings? How would I face the kind of persecution and loss that Job had experienced in this passage? Well, suddenly Job lost his flocks and his herds. He lost his servants. He lost his children. And finally, he even lost his own health. But Job's testimony is, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." To make matters worse, his so-called friends turned up and began to accuse him of sin in his life. Certainly if you were innocent, you would not face these kind of problems. So did he turn from God, as Satan has accused him of doing? No, Job maintained his integrity. He retained his steadfast faith in the Lord. And his testimony in Job 13:15 says, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." I love that testimony. God has not turned his back on Job, although Satan has attacked him and put him through a lot of things. Even his wife has turned away from him and says, "Why don't you just curse God and die?" But Job argues with his friends about his own faithfulness to God. And his final testimony there in Job 19 and verse 25 says, "For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at the last day on the earth, and after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God." A steadfast faith in the midst of persecution and troubles. I hope our response to Satan's attacks on us will be the same thing. No matter what, I still place my trust in the Lord.